Alright, good morning everybody. It is Friday, April 3rd, 2026. Chilly, dreary, gloomy start to the day today. 42 on the truck. It was 39 in my backyard. If you remember, in the last video I told you all that it was warm out, but Thursday was probably going to be a backdoor cold front day and it was going to get cold. Well, it did. Yesterday's high was only 42 degrees. And it was cold and gloomy and breezy and misty and everything else. And this morning is a continuation of it, but it's supposed to warm up later this afternoon. And we're supposed to get up to like 70, 72 degrees. So I don't know how long it's going to take to do that. So we are dressed for the cold weather, and we'll see if we're overdressed later or not. But we're just about ready to get going. We already pre-tripped. We already started our paperwork. So we're going to get going. We got 2 red barns down to Fogelsville, and then we have to take a van up to Hazelton. So we'll talk to you along the way like we always do. Alright, so change of plans. I just got a phone call. We're not going to go to the Red Barn to Allentown on this first load, or Fogelsville as it were. Things are running a little bit slow down there, so we are going to go out to the well in the woods, and we're going to run one down to Reading, and then we're going to call and find out what we're going to do after that. And I kind of knew that the Fogelsville was slow. My night shift partner had sat and waited down there on one of her loads, and she gave me a heads up. But sometimes what happens on night shift doesn't translate into what happens on day shift, and it can be slow at night and then it picks up and everything normal on day shift, and vice versa. But so far it seems like it's continuing. So rather than waste time sitting down there when another plant can use the water, we are going to go to a different plant. So now let's see, I got 2 cars coming from my right, and if they hurry up and do what they need to do, now we got a truck turning. By the time they all do what they need to do, we're going to sit here for a while. Timing is everything, and we just didn't get it right. Yep, now we got a parade coming down from the right, and we're gonna have a parade a bit from the left. Sometimes I can cross this street without hardly stopping, and now it just seems like extraordinary amount of traffic on what is basically a holiday. Maybe that's why some people are out early. This is Good Friday, and boy, I can't seem to get out. And I got more coming from the right. And this guy, I don't know if you see him, he's going to come out of the gas station and then he's going to mess things up. I just sit here for a while. It's ridiculous. Normally it isn't like this first thing in the morning. It became a traffic cluster. Alright, so we're out here at the well in the woods. As we were coming in, we saw one driver leaving, and there's one still in here. He just started loading, so we're probably going to end up waiting about 20 minutes for him to finish up, and then we'll be able to start loading. And then once he's gone, I'll be able to talk to you outside the truck. I won't talk to you while he's here. So, but we're backing on the pad now. They changed the hose, so now I've got to get closer to the curb back there. I almost got to touch the curb to get the hose hooked up. They put a new hose on here yesterday, and it's a little bit shorter than the previous version, so... But we'll talk more about that, and maybe I'll show it to you once we have a chance to talk to you outside. Well, as soon as the other guy left, this guy came in, so I can only talk to you real quick here, but I'm loading up right now. When I'm done, then he'll take over, so we'll talk to you on the way down to Reading. Alright, so we're loading and rolling, and adding me into the mix of guys that is going to Reading is going to jam things up over there a little bit. They got plenty of room for water, so it's not going to do anything in that respect, but it's just going to put more trucks in there, and there's limited room. As it is, I'm probably going to end up going over to Silo too, which is going to be a challenge because they've got so much stuff parked where we would normally nose our trailer, our tractor up in, so that we can set up the back up to where the hose will reach the trailer. So I'm going to probably have to do some wiggling around when I get in there, but I would rather be at Silo 2 anyway, because the guy that came in after I started loading, he's in that brown Kenworth that I used to drive that has no turning radius. So as challenging as it's going to be for me to get over to Silo 2, it would be even harder for him to get to Silo 2. So we're going to try and get in over there so that he has an easier time when he gets there. All right, so we're here. Now, I didn't see any of the two trucks that were at the well before me come out yet, so I think they're both here. I tried calling both of them and neither of them answered. So let's see, there's one. And there's the other. So I've got to, let's see, I back up a little bit. Get a little bit closer to the curb so that he can get out. Hopefully. And like I said, I tried calling him to see what was going on here. I would have laid back a little bit further if I'd have known what was going on, but nobody kind of called me, so let's see, that should probably be a good spot. All right, so I got a moment to talk while we're unloading here and before the other guy comes in. What we're gonna do is, once we're done with this one, we're gonna go to the Tamaqua well, grab one in Tamaqua, and take that up, deliver it at the Hazelton plant, and then we're gonna grab the empty van up there, run it down to Fogelsville, and take the loaded van back up to Hazelton. So a little bit backwards. We were supposed to do the Fogelsville and then grab the loaded van up and take the empty down. So we're just gonna do it in reverse, and that'll be our day then. So, all right, we'll talk to you on the way over to the well. All right, so we just finished up Hamburg. We're gonna be heading up here towards where we cut off on 895. Looks like they are going to be repaving this bumpy section through here whenever we get another couple days of nice weather. So far, it has not cleared off and warmed up yet. It's still only in the mid-40s, and it's misty and wet, so they aren't going to pave it, but they milled down that right lane so that they can start paving, like I said, whenever the weather kind of breaks again. So that was real bumpy. I used to try to ride this left lane as it were, just because of how bumpy that lane was, but now I see that they're going to repave it. And this lane isn't much better. You get up here and you're going to see it's kind of bumpy as well, but that lane was 10 times worse. Especially on the bridge. But they did some patching here, but the concrete strips are higher than blacktop at the moment, so it gives you a little bit of a rough ride. Anyway, moving on. We'll talk to you maybe in New Ringgold, where we hook that left turn to go over to the other well. All right, so we are entering the little borough of New Ringgold, and we'll see. There's a trash truck here picking up. We got traffic tied up a little bit. I was going to say, I wonder what it's going to be like trying to make this left turn here. There's more traffic than normal today. It's everywhere. 61 was pretty heavy, and some people doing some stupid stuff along the way, but traffic is much heavier today, so we're gonna see how it is to make this left turn, because we gotta drag it into the opposing lane to travel. It's just not a big enough turn to do it, so we gotta let this tractor trailer come around a turn first, and then we'll start creeping our way up there, and hopefully one of them four-wheelers will give us a break and let us make this turn. But I wanted to let him go first. And then we'll just slowly creep our way up, and hopefully they know what they're doing and they keep going now at this point. Come on, come on, come on. I need that room. There we go. He was gonna sit there waiting, and it's like, you don't realize I gotta drag this trailer into your lane to complete the turn. So that wasn't as bad as I thought. Just had to wave my hand and encourage that one to go. So, all right, easy peasy. So we'll go out this way. This is 443 now. Go over what's known as Clamtown Mountain, and then we come back down into South Tamaqua from a different angle. So we'll show you it on the other side of the hill, because I don't show you this road too much because we're not on it too much. All right, so I showed you a while back coming up over Clamtown Hill, climbing the hill. Now I'll show you going down the other side, where it drops into South Tamaqua. Go from the New Ringgold area to the South Tamaqua area. And this road is very bumpy too. Doesn't look like it because they oiled and chipped it, but that doesn't actually smooth out bumps. It just seals the pavement. So the bumps still remain underneath the oil and chip. And this would be a nicer look if we could burn this marine layer off and get some sunshine and clear out the fog and stuff. And that's what a backdoor cold front is it's a low-level marine layer that backs in from the northeast to the southwest and cools things off. It only makes it to the Appalachian Mountains, and they act as a barrier. So right now, Pittsburgh's probably in the 70s. I'm going to go toward 80 today, and we're still in the 40s because we're stuck in this marine slop, as I like to call it, because it's just cold and damp. But this time of year is when we get these backdoor cold fronts because the ocean is still cold from the winter months. So you get an easterly flow off the ocean, and it just gives you these cloudy skies and foggy, misty conditions and cold temperatures. But yeah, this South Tamaqua area is actually a nice area. I just, like I said, don't get to show it to you because this is not really a normal part of our running route. Only if we're gonna go over to the Tamaqua well after we've done a Redding do we come this way. Otherwise we usually stay on 895, go to the Red Barn or back to the well in the woods. So nice area out through here, especially once it becomes summertime. Then it gets really nice out here. You can see there's some farm fields here, and there's an old barn. Boy, said it's bumpy road. Road work ahead. What do we got going on here? What do we got going on here? Are they doing some guardrail work? If it's Penn Line, they're doing guardrail work, but I don't think so. No, Verizon doing cable work. So yeah, neat route through here. There's the Reading and Northern Railroad tracks right there. A lot of people like to run this when the steam train comes through, and they will pace the steam train and shoot video of it, try to ride right alongside it and get good pacing action shots of the steam engine as it's heading north toward Tamaqua. Then once we get around this curve, it will cut off to the left and go through one of the coal mines, and we'll go straight here, cross over 309, and eventually we'll be back there at the well where we'll talk to you a little bit more. All right, so we made it here. We're loading. Still cloudy, gray, and overcast, but the temperature feels like it warmed up a little bit. It is nowhere near as cold and raw and nasty as yesterday was. It's actually kind of comfortable today. Still need the hoodie, but it's kind of comfortable today. So I think the temperatures are starting to warm up. Maybe once we get a hold of that van, maybe then the skies will start clearing off, and then the temperatures will really start to ramp up. But we're here loading up, and the meter isn't working at the moment, so we got to play a timing game. It takes about 20 minutes to load here, so I can't talk to you too long because I got to watch the time, and when it gets close to 20 minutes, then I got to stand and watch out the door and wait for it to fill up, and then quick run in and shut it off. Normally I'll just watch the meter, and then when it gets close, then I'll watch the outside and shut it off. So I got to pay a little more attention right now with the meter not working. So, but anyway, we'll talk to you on the way up. All right, I know the audio is going to be a little crappy because we're pulling the hill, but this is the first of 2 pulls that get us up there onto the Hazelton Plateau. This one's the hometown hill. We just left Tamaqua. We're climbing up this hill, and it gets pretty steep up here at the top, pulls us down. We're down to 32 miles an hour. And then the hope is to always get this light green when we get up here, but it doesn't always work that way, and then we got to start out on the hill. But yeah, this first one, about a 500-foot climb. It's 825 feet down there in town, elevation. And you get up here and it's about 1,200 feet, 1,300 feet. So it gets a little bit cooler. And then, now we got the green light. Too bad it couldn't have went a little sooner. And then we climb that mile hill up there, the one that's real bumpy I've showed you before. And that one puts us up on the Hazelton Plateau, which is about 1,800 to, in some places, 2,000 feet, which is why the climate is so different up there and how it gets very cold in the winter. Usually 10 degrees colder than it is down there in Tamaqua. Hazelton is just, I told you it is a different climate up there, always windy, much colder in the winter time, not so bad in the summer. It's cooler up there in the summer, but there's not quite as big a temperature swing as there is in the winter months. But anyway, pretty much from that well up to Hazelton is a hard pull all the way up. So across the Reading and Northern tracks here. And we get up here, and Walmart is up here on the right, and AutoZone is up here on the right, and this light just turned green for us. Now, if everybody gets moving, we'll be able to get through it, and I can't really jump in that left lane and kind of get going, because the left lane on the other side of this traffic light ends. It becomes a turning lane for the road that goes to the pizza parlor on the other side of the road. There used to be so many accidents there that they shut this passing lane down and made it a turning lane, as you can see here. So when that light turns green, if traffic doesn't get moving, you really can't move left to pass them. But anyway, keeping on. I'm gonna end up making a long video out of this one. But we'll get up there, we'll talk to you while we're unloading, and then we'll try to find out where our empty is, if it's empty yet, because another driver just took it up there this morning loaded. So hopefully it'll be empty when we get there. And then we'll talk to you some more later on. Alright, well, we made it up here to 81, and the skies are starting to clear. The clouds are breaking, skies are starting to clear, the sun is coming out, and the temperature went up to 56. So it's one of those rare instances where it's going to be warmer in Hazelton than it is down there in the valley below. Once it clears off region-wide, that's going to change, but every now and again you get those rare moments where it is warmer up here than it is down in the low elevations. And for the next hour or so, that's probably going to be the case. So I just needed to show you that. I knew at some point today it was going to clear off. Well, here it is. We're starting to find it. Alright, well, it's noisy here today. You got those guys unloading the plastic pellets, and they're going into the silos, and then they're running through the stainless steel tubing into the plant, so it's quite noisy outside, so we'll talk to you real quick in here. We are unloading as we speak. Once we're empty, we're going to drop this trailer right here where we sit, and then go hunting for our van. We'll run down the back side of the building here and see if it's empty and dropped over here on the empty side, or if it's still over on the other side in the dock waiting to be unloaded. Hopefully they unloaded it, because they are scheduled to get another one up here this afternoon. Our other driver brought one up this morning, and then I'm bringing one up this afternoon, so hopefully they have it empty and ready for me to take down, and then when I get down there to Fogelsville, hopefully they have that one loaded and ready for me to bring back up. We will see, so fingers crossed. Alright, so we found our empty and we are leaving, and since we are leaving with an empty and not a load, we don't have to check out here at the kiosk. This kiosk here and checkout point is for those leaving with loads so they can print their bills out, just like we do on the other end where we print our own bills out at the kiosk on the way out. We don't have to do that because we got ourselves an empty, so now it's just a matter of just going back around the building and getting out. The trailer was dropped over here on the side where usually the loads are dropped. The empties, I don't need these flashers anymore. The empties are usually dropped on the back side of the building, so I came down that way and it wasn't there, so it was over on the other side of the building. But we got our empty. Now all we got to do is get ourselves down to Fogelsville. There we've got to check in and see where they want us to put the empty, see if our load is ready and where it's at, and so forth and so on. So, but we're rolling on out of here. And I got JB Hunt hot on my heels here. Some of these people like to fly out of here, and it's kind of ridiculous. Technically, you shouldn't do more than 15 miles an hour on a customer's property. Now, there's no speed limit signs here, but generally that's a good speed to run on a customer's property. You don't want to really go flying around and being an idiot. So that's what we're doing, and if he doesn't like it, that's just too bad. So plus we got Quanix up there. He's backing in another one of those pellet trailers, so there's no sense in rushing up there to him and then having to stop and wait anyway, which we might, because it looks like he's struggling a little to back in, but it is what it is. But we're not going to go rushing up there and jamming on the brakes. So I don't know why this guy's sitting here. He was sitting here when I got here with the load of water. I don't know if he's waiting for his half-hour break to be up or what, but he's been sitting there for a while, unless he's broke down. So anyway, let's just wave goodbye to our drop tanker. We'll be back for it later on. So, alright, we'll talk to you on the way back down there. Well, it seems like the clearing skies that we had up in Hazleton haven't really gotten down here to the Lehigh Valley yet. Actually, they hadn't even gotten to Tamaqua. I was showing you the Tamaqua traffic and stuff, and didn't realize it was actually cloudy still in Tamaqua as well, but it's pretty solid overcast down here. Temperature's only 55, so it's like 10-12 degrees cooler than what it was up there in Hazleton when I left with this van. So I don't know when it's gonna actually clear off and warm up region wide, but seems like it's taking its time because it's 2:15 already. Most forecasts had said that by noontime this dreary cold push of air was going to move out and the sun was going to take over and we were going to warm up to low to mid 70s. Doesn't appear like that's going to happen, at least not for a while yet. I guess this flatbed is going straight. Usually the trucks go down 100, but he is going straight. Yeah, it's still a pretty dark, solid overcast. Actually, probably darker because I still got my sunglasses on. Yeah, it's starting to brighten up a little bit. The sunglasses are making it look dark yet, but I needed them up there in Hazleton because it was pretty bright and sunny. So anyway, just turned off at 309 on the 100 here. Seems like the traffic was worse this morning than it is now for some reason. There's traffic, but it hasn't been as much of a problem as it was first thing this morning. So we're keeping on. Let's see what happens when we get down there to the plant. If gotta wait in line to check in with this thing, or if we'll get right through the kiosk right quick and drop and hook and do everything we need to do and get back out of there with the loaded trailer. I guess we'll also see if water is still slow or if they got things moving on that side. Alright, we'll talk to you when we get down there and let you know how things are playing out. Alright, so we're down here. We dropped the empty one, found our loaded one here in the yard. We're hooked up to it. We're halfway through our walk around pre-trip. Stopped to write the seal down. Figured I'd talk to you a little bit, and then we'll finish up the other half of the pre-trip, and then we'll go out back and print up our paperwork, head back up to Hazelton. Sun's working on trying to come out down here, so it's starting to warm up here too. And looks like the last half of the day is going to end up being a nice day after all. But we're going to finish up here, get going. We'll talk to you on the way back up somewhere. All right, so we got our paperwork and we are good to go. It is 3 p.m. on the dot, and I know from past experience at 3 p.m. it's very difficult to try and make a left turn out here on the industrial road, so we aren't even going to mess around with it. We're going to take the right and go out the 100 and up that way. It may take a few minutes longer, but there's less hassles trying to get out. Shift change starts at 3 o'clock, and making this left up here can be difficult, and then making the next left can be difficult, because once these places let out, it's like waiting for a freight train. So, and I mean, I may be making the wrong call. I may be able to make my left out of here easy peasy, but I'm not even going to mess around with it. I'm just going to go to the right and go out the 100 that way. Save the aggravation, save the headache, save the hassles. And I probably would have been all right going out, but this is what we're going to do. It is what it is. Nope, I see some traffic coming around the other way, so I would have had a hard time coming out. Yeah, they keep coming around that bend back there. If I would have tried to make the left turn, the traffic from my left, I see they keep coming and coming and coming. So somebody just dismissed. This was the right call. So now let's see if we can get lucky and catch the light sequence up here, green. That's the one thing, is most of the time when I come out here, the light turns red right before I get there, and then I gotta wait for all the traffic that's coming up out of Trexler Town. So I have to see if we get fortunate or not. I'm not sure we will. Not sure we will. Like I said, I mean, at the most it's gonna add 3, 4, 5 minutes to the trip. It's not a real big deal. The only thing was wait, until I stop and look. And with a car, I probably could have easily made the right turn on red, but not with the weight I've got in the box right now. It would take me too long to get going. Actually, oh, there's one car over there right now. He's gonna get the green first. But I can make the right on red. Nobody else is coming out that way yet, so we are good. So actually, we did catch the light sequence pretty close to perfection. We didn't have to wait very long at all. So, alright, well, you know the deal. We're gonna go up 100 here, 309, up through Tamaqua, and back up to Hazelton, get this thing dropped either in a door or in the yard, and grab the tank, and then go home for the weekend. Alright, folks, we are about to climb up the Bumpy Hill, which is also known as the Mile Hill. That's its kind of true name here. Almost got that light totally red, but I timed it so they didn't have to come to a complete stop. But this hill is not only going to eat us up, but it's going to bounce us up, especially up at the top. Actually, this one is slated to be milled and repaved this summer. I'll believe it when I see it, but I mean, y'all can see the condition of the road. It's patched up and tarred up. They tried all different kind of ways to fix it, from blowing in tar and chip or oil and chip or whatever you want to call it, to milling out a little strip of the zipper there and repaving it. And they've done everything 6 ways from Sunday on here, but it's falling apart. There's only one way to fix it, and that's to mill it down and at least put like a base coat and a layer on top of it until they can actually do something with the concrete sub-road, which was at one time the actual roadway. These were concrete roads, and that's why they're falling apart. They never got rid of the concrete, they just blacktopped over them. And all the expansion joints just expanded. So, it's pretty rough. This was rough in my Jeep too. It was so bad that when I was working up in Hazleton, I was tempted to take a different route to get up to 81, because this was almost worse in my Jeep than it is in this truck. But it's bad all the way up, but up here at the very top is where it's the worst. And you'll hear it as well as see it. Might have to split screen this so you can see how bad the inside shakes and jumps, and as well as see what the road is it's doing it. That is just horrible. That is just horrible. Anyway, we're up to the top, so and the sun's out again. I guess it was destined to be sunny in Hazleton, but not anywhere else today. But all right, we will talk to you once we get up there to the plant and get this dropped off. All right, so he did not know what to do with me. He couldn't get a hold of the warehouse personnel, but he knows that we need to get our paperwork signed down here, so he told me to run down to the end where we normally go and check in with them, and they'll tell me whether to put it in the door or drop it here in the yard. So that's what we're gonna do. I don't know if there's any doors open or not. We used like the last 4 doors down here towards the end of the building. Generally, it had always been if we couldn't drop it in a door, that we would drop it in the yard, because they got yard jockeys here that can put them indoors if need be. As you see right there, one backing up to a trailer to move it out of a door. All right, so we are going to put it in door 116. We got our paperwork signed. All is good. Now let's see if I'm good. This is an easy dock. There's nobody in the dock to my right, which is 115, and it's a trash compactor to my left, which would be 117. Well, there is a 117, but anyway. Let's see how good we are. This is easy peasy today, but we'll probably have to pull up once. You watch. Yep, I can see it already. Yep, I can see it already. Oh, well. think I followed it up too quick, is what I did. Of course, like I said, you got to get it almost perfectly in the lines because they use an automated forklift to unload these things. So if it's not square, I heard that it won't go in the trailer. So you got to be pretty good, and it looks like I am. Alright, so you saw we put that trailer in door 116 and we came back around the other side of the building. We're back underneath our tank. And after we take a little break here, then we're going to get heading back home. We're going to swing in the Exxon station and top off the fuel and then get back to the yard and top off the DEF, close all our paperwork out, and then we can go home and enjoy the weekend. So, I don't know if we'll talk to you a little more on the way down or if I'll wait till we get back to the yard. We'll see, but I will talk to you one more time at some point. Alright, so we're almost back, and like I told you, we're going to top off with fuel. And one thing I like now is, I started doing this week, is when I'm coming from the north, and I'm finishing my day from the north, instead of flipping around and going in and facing north to fuel, I'll go in up here at the first entrance, face south to fuel, and then I don't have to do the U-turn to come back out on the 309 south and then make the left on the 895. I can just go through the parking lot and make left on the 895. It's a lot easier and a lot safer in my opinion. So you'll see what I mean when we pull in here. Doesn't look like anybody. The only thing that, if there's trucks in there, then that messes me up and then I have to do it the other way. But if no trucks are in there, then I can do it this way. And I stay to the one on the right towards the road. Now, as long as this guy in this red pickup truck isn't going to mess me up, which he is. Alright, he's going to go. And I got two more coming. Usually it's pretty easy just to get in here, but now I gotta wait. When I just come in and do it this way, face out, face the other direction, and much easier to leave when I'm done. All right, so fueling is complete. We're out of here. Now, instead of trying to make the near U-turn to get out there on the 309 just to make the left to go out 895 here, we're just going to come through the parking lot. Stay over this way so that we can get square down there at the intersection so that we can see what's going on. Of course, one's coming straight. All right, now we can go. Much, much easier. Much, much safer. And that is that. Yesterday, poor Zaprazny driver, he sat there for well over 5 minutes trying to get out on the 309 because there was just that much traffic yesterday afternoon. So whenever I come from the north, that's the way I go in there to fuel now. When I come from the south, of course I can't. I have to do it the other way, but you know, it is what it is. But whenever I get a chance to make things easier and safer, I do it. So anyway, back to the yard we go. They get some DEF before we put her to bed for the night. Alright, so we're parked. We rinsed the truck off. We didn't do a full brush wash with it, but we just rinsed it off. When we went into the well in the woods this morning, there was mud and mud puddles in there, and so it splatted up the fuel tanks and the frame and the air tanks and stuff. So we just gave it a pressure washer rinse off, make her look kind of nice and clean some of that gunk off of there. So that's done. Paperwork is done. Everything is done. All we got to do is kick the tires and check the lights, and we'll be good to go. So that's it for this video. Hopefully I'll have it on the tube by Sunday sometime. So it's Easter weekend, so for those who celebrate, I wish you a happy Easter. And then we'll try to talk to you next week if we have some interesting stuff to actually shoot.